Today we have a guest on the show that was truly connected and brought to my consciousness through the oneness. So it is extremely appropriate to introduce to you Rasha. Rasha is a modern-day messenger and the author of the book Oneness. Oneness has become an underground spiritual classic, a book that has been passed from friend to friend and has spread by word of mouth all over the world. Rasha has worked as a courier of the divine guidance for over 20 years. In early 1998, she began an incredible dialogue with a universal presence known to her as Oneness, the divinity we all share and many people refer to as God. Word for word, she has transcribed thousands of pages of information for us all, like a secretary taking dictation. The teachings of Oneness give a whole new level of understanding to the mystery we call life. The material is collaborated vibrationally to empower us and to help us to take a quantum leap into our own depth and total transformation of our lives and our world. Rasha has a wonderful website, and I want all of you to check out her website, which is www.onenesswebsite.com. She offers lots of free programs that you can sign up for, and she has a beautiful flash movie called Oneness that is right on her website, and that has had nearly 80,000 viewers on YouTube. So this is something that our world is prepared for, is soaking up like a sponge. We as a world, as a universe, we are ready to remember the truth of oneness. And Rasha also just recently took the time to make an audio version of the book Oneness. So that is now available on her website as well, which is really beautiful because the vibration of her voice as she brings forth this message, there's more to the message than just the words, and it certainly is captured in the book, but when you return that back to her vibrational voice, which is sitting within the oneness, you actually embrace a whole new level of that understanding. So welcome, Rasha.
Thank you so much for a beautiful introduction.
Oh, and thank you for being with us today.
This is exciting to connect with someone like you who has also had this experience firsthand.
Isn't it beautiful?
And this is fun.
It is fun.
We talked a little bit about this before we started.
But, it's fun to be in that oneness with such clarity with each other, which, is what our world's going to be doing very soon. So it's a taste of what that's going to be like for all of us in the future, I'm sure.
This is what's in store for everyone.
Yeah.
Oneness says, in these times, this is our birthright. And in previous times, it might have taken generations to be able to do what we can do in one lifetime if we're clear on what's possible and we give ourselves permission to experience it. It's a very exciting time to be alive in.
I agree with you. Absolutely. And as you just mentioned, the generation, I have to say my daughter is she's going to be starting a radio show on this network soon. She just came up with her title yesterday, which is Generation Awesome. And it's for this next generation coming up. And it's exactly what you just said. It's that they're ready. We're ready. And they're even more ready to just get started, even as children, to accomplish things before even the adulthood. So I absolutely agree with what you just said. So
I think we have to remember that everything is energy, and that we've been given a gift, a vibrational leg up on this ride in these times. So it's like we're riding the crest of a wave that's carrying us into pockets of perception that normally we wouldn't have been capable of experiencing in other times at different vibrational levels, other dimensional levels. Now we're able to make these quantum leaps because we've got an extra boost from the energies that are flooding the planet.
Absolutely, and I've seen that as well.
Such a gift. It's such a gift, and it's wonderful that so many people are aware of the possibility of tapping into this and taking advantage of it by really focusing on what they want, which is what there is to have is amazing if you take the time to really focus on it and make it a priority in your life. I guess we both know that Hopefully everyone out there knows
Exactly.
it too.
Well, and as you worded that, you said the awareness, and I agree with you. So many more people have awareness, and there have been so many spiritual teachers, leaders, bringing forth this awareness to us over the last generation or so. And so consciously now our minds are open to the fact that this can even occur, that this is happening. But you and I both have an understanding that there's something that needs to the next step from that mental awareness, which is actually experiencing that divinity within through our heart. Do you want to speak about that for a little bit?
That's it. So many people are talking about the journey to oneness, and they're talking about understanding it as though it was a philosophy. But really what there is to have is what oneness calls the taste. That's those precious moments when you know you've been touched by something that's indescribable and holy. And when you've had that experience, even if it's walking through the woods or in meditation or in prayer, when you've had that experience, you take a quantum leap between believing in a higher power and knowing it. And that's what there is to have, to get to the point where there's no longer any questions. Because it's not a matter of understanding it and being able to explain it to others and answer questions. That's philosophy. In these times, what's possible is to be able to have that taste for ourselves. And when you do, all the questions just dissolve. There are no longer any questions because you've transitioned into your heart at that point. You feel it. And once you feel it, that's what there is to have. So I think you and I are both here to encourage and facilitate for all of us who want to have that experience, want to know for ourselves what it's like to make that connection with the divinity within you. It's a most extraordinary gift we've been given to know who we really are. And it's not at all who you think you are. For most people out there, you are vast. You are absolutely vast. You can almost shift into another gear, like shifting into a higher octave of yourself, and actually feel that, and look out through your own eyes, and to know there's something much more than the small you that's doing the looking. That's the option. That's the opportunity we're being given in these times. And the book that I transcribed, Oneness, is kind of a manual how to get through the maze of everyday life and to get to the point where we can have these kinds of experiences on a regular basis and to be in control of it, not to have our emotions and the circumstances of our life be in charge of us, but really to have a grasp on what's happening and to be able to manifest consistently what we want in our lives. That's the gift we're being given. Anyway,
which is a beautiful gift.
Yeah, it definitely is. So that's the kind of information that I received, how this is done, and how to get through the tough times and the difficult parts, because it's not all a joyride, as I'm sure you well know. It's not an easy journey. It's a challenging journey, but it's a fascinating chapter in your life when you embark on it.
What would be?
Go ahead.
What would be something? Obviously, reading the book is a beautiful. I completely agree with you that it is a beautiful way of bringing words to really what there are no words for, but helping to guide people from that place of being in that consciousness that this is something as a realm of possibility, to actually making that shift to feeling it. Really, it's opening up, and we can't the feeling of it just sort of takes over within us when we open our hearts and let that vibration flow in and we begin to remember. But what are some of the things that Oneness brought through you to assist people in that, from that space of maybe not opening the heart yet to bringing that space of openness to allow for that to flow in so we get that taste of it?
Well, I think it's a matter of priority. It's as though you are in a relationship. When you're in a relationship, you spend time with it. It becomes an important part of your life. It's not something that you do when everything else is done, if there's time left over. You do it first. So I would encourage everyone who's serious about this to start a spiritual practice, be it meditation or prayer or chanting or singing or lighting candles and flowers, setting up an altar, whatever it is that puts you in that mood, in that space where you can connect, where you can feel like you're in harmony with something more. And to do that on a regular basis, daily, preferably, where you schedule it like you would go to work. You have your time with Oneness. And when you do this on a regular basis, things start to change and the experience deepens and you start to transition into higher and higher octaves of yourself. When you go into that sacred space, magical things start to happen. But it's not going to happen without you. That's the point. You have to focus your attention on it. So when you do these things, when you say prayers or chant mantras or whatever it is that's your thing, you are choosing to focus your attention on that, on Oneness. And the focus of your attention is the key to everything. That's the bottom line. So if your focus of attention is on establishing a relationship with the divinity within you that I refer to as Oneness, you are going to focus your attention on it, and you're going to do it from the space of heart on a regular basis. You're going to make it an important part of your life. When you do that, fasten your seatbelt. It's amazing what is possible to experience in human form.
Let's move to that.
It.
I know. And I think we want to celebrate in that joy. Let's move a little. So that's kind of the beginning, and then we integrate, and there's a whole process. And your book, The Oneness, is very good at helping people move through that integration of living that, not in a meditation, but when our life becomes the meditation, eventually that's the state that we live in all moments. And I love what you said about the attention, because what I've really been working with people on is holding that space and helping us to really fill in the gaps of our understanding in the different levels of who we are. Because I think even people on the path, they know, we've got our physical self, our emotional self, our spiritual self, and our ascended self, and, different language for it, all the way up into the space of Oneness. And the observer, we can move our attention in any moment to be very physical and be present in this world while still keeping our attention in the observer self, and the knowing, that feeling of Oneness and all the layers in between. To me, that's the integration phase of this process. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. It's like tuning in a program on a radio station. all of the shows are playing out there. It's a matter of which one you want to listen to. So if you're focusing your attention on all of the discord of the world and all of the aggravations in your personal life and whatever is swirling around you, you can actually get to experience the emotion that's connected with that discord. But if instead you choose in those moments of challenge to focus your attention on that centeredness within yourself, watch what happens. Your feelings will shift, and you won't be affected by what is happening around you. You will be solid as a rock, in a state of peace, no matter what. That is the opportunity. That's the space that we want to get to. And not listen to all the blaring music on all the shows that are playing out there. You want to get to the peaceful show that is playing on this channel. And you can choose that through focusing your attention on that sacred space within. And the way you do that, it's like going to the gym on a regular basis. You flex that muscle enough times, you get good at it. You can shift into it automatically. You can hold that space because you've worked it. You've gotten to the point where it's familiar and kindred. And it's right there. It's waiting for you. You only need to choose it. Anyway, the book Oneness talks so much about this, how to do all of these.
I love that you use the radio example in the channels because for the listeners out there who've listened to me, they will realize that truly oneness is oneness, and we all draw our information from the same source, because my analogy has always been the television and changing the channels. So.
Yeah, but it's a natural analogy because it's so true.
It is so true. And in truth, oneness is the truth. And so no matter which pathway we get to it, we're going to come out with the same answers.
Yeah. I want to make sure that people know that there's a brand new audio version of this book that just came out this week. And what is incredible about this is we discovered I took the communication, the information, back into the spoken word, the way I heard it in the first place, instead of the written word that's in a book, which is wonderful. But when you listen to it, something vibrational happens in addition that is so powerful. So I would encourage people to check it out. There's a sample up on my website, which is onenesswebsite.com. If you go there, you can click on this and actually listen to it and see what you think. It's amazing.
Perfect. I agree with you. And I know I've listened to that, and I feel in the vibration of your words, because like we are saying, when it actually clicks in and when we actually feel it, when we actually live in it and have a taste, there really are no words. We're at the moment we put words to it, we're reducing it. But when we put the words to it and the sound vibration is in there, the impact of the vibration of the sound actually speaks to us in layers that our mind doesn't fully understand. So I agree, and I would encourage people to do. Yeah.
It's not really a matter of understanding. You want to get to the place what oneness calls knowingness. And that absolutely transcends the mind. This has nothing to do with understanding. It's like a gut feeling. It's coming from a deeper place. You know all of this, and what you're doing is remembering it at a much higher level, because, in fact, you are a timeless being. You are oneness. You've got these understandings. You just want to be able to access it. So what happens, this book, I should tell you, has what they call encodements in it. These are vibrational cues that will actually trigger experiences for you of the very thing you've read, so that when you're encountering this material, you're not encountering it with your mind. You are learning it from your own experience of it, because you will have actual living illustrations happen to you of the very thing you've read. And it's mind-blowing in a way. You think, wait a minute, I just read that, and now, my God, it's happening. But you will never forget it as a result of that. And you'll be able to transition from understanding to knowing. That's what takes you home. That's what takes you into the place where you are actually living this material, not just being able to preach it, but being able to walk it.
I actually can affirm that for you, because I recently, Spirit guided me to the book and then to connect to you. And then a friend was guided, without me passing the word on, was guided to the book and was in process of going through some of the things that were happening, and literally, you literally used one of your chapters to describe to me what was happening, because it's instantaneous when we say yes to this work, and that message is encoded, and it happens in your dreams, it happens in your wake state, it happens in your relationships. It is because you're choosing it. And in the moment you choose it, like you said, Rasha, the universe, the wave, the crescent wave that is here for us is just going to wash over us, and everything will line up to support our desire to be in that space.
Yeah, it does. And, I've often been asked, like, what is it like? What should people expect? And Oneness has a wonderful analogy. They say that the journey is like a wave on the shore. It's not like somebody's going to flip your switch and suddenly you're going to be enlightened and it's all going to go on. In these times, it's being done gently because it's not an easy journey, and sometimes people have side effects that are not pleasant, like they freak out and stuff. Oneness does not want the masses of human population to be freaking out at the same time. So we are being eased into this transition of embodying our own divinity. So you're standing on the shore and the wave comes and you get your toes wet. And you know in that moment that, my God, it's so incredible. And you think to yourself, if only I could stay in this space. But of course the wave goes back and you're standing there on dry land thinking, what just happened? I wish I could get back in it. And the wave comes again. You're in it up to your knees. And it's intense. But then the wave goes back and forth it comes. The journey is like that. Eventually, you're in it up to your neck. And then you're in it over your head. But there's still a you, and there's still an ocean. Ultimately, you get to the point where you dissolve into that ocean. And there is no difference between you and that ocean because you are oneness. It's all one. That's the nature of the journey. And it's going to happen gently and lovingly with a lot of humor. not at all a rough ride. That's what's been slated for us for these times. So that's straight out of the book, by the way.
That's beautiful.
That little story.
That. Yeah.
But having gone on it, that's what it's like. You'll have an intense, wonderful experience, but it may not last. It may last a couple of minutes or a couple of hours or even a couple of days. But then suddenly you're back to being the old you again. You'll think, what did I do wrong? Why did I lose it? That gives you the space to digest it, to process what just happened to you. So you're ready when the wave comes again. So you're ready to really immerse yourself in it, to surrender to it when it comes again. And it becomes a comfortable thing, a regular part of your life. That's what we can expect and anticipate that is going to happen when we start taking this spiritual journey seriously, which is an opportunity. You don't have to, but my God, why wouldn't you?
Right. And I think we're both here to say to everyone, why wouldn't you? It's real. We're on the other side of that, where that we are the ocean, and we can put our consciousness into the human experience in any moment. But it's so full and so vast and filled with so many miracles that aren't even any miracles anymore, because they're the common way of your being and your essence. So I think one of the things for us to do is stand here and witness that feeling to people. And I felt it in the vibration of your words as you spoke. So thank you so much. We are nearing the end of our time. Are there any other things that you would like to say? I know we want to remind everyone of your website, and anything else that you're feeling before we close here?
The website is www.onenesswebsite.com. There is a wonderful thing that people can sign up for there. It's called the Wisdom of Oneness Messages, and it's absolutely free. It comes by email twice a week, and it's quotations from this book, Oneness, and gorgeous photography. So if you'd like to have something really nice coming to you by email, and not too often, only twice a week, please go to the website. www.onenesswebsite.com and click at the top of the page and sign up, and you'll get something really lovely by email.
Perfect. Thank you, Rasha, for joining with me in this space today and sharing this vibration with all the listeners, and for all that, not only just this moment, for living in the space and for being that messenger. I really feel a lot of love and gratitude for you in this moment. I want you to feel that.
Thank you for inviting me to share this with you. I feel such a kindred connection with you in this moment. I think we are both in that space. And it's kind of nice, isn't it?
It is nice to be in oneness with other people. It's one of the most beautiful experiences. Yes, absolutely.
I totally acknowledge you and what you're doing for this planet, with your work, and it's a privilege to be able to share it with you in this way today.
Thank you. And I feel the same. So thank you, everyone, for listening, and I hope that you have felt a taste of that oneness through our love and our vibration, which we send out to you. Have a beautiful evening, a wonderful holiday, and if you stay tuned now, you will hear Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. and The Way of the Desert, and we'll take you out with Joanne Shenandoah and the Ancient Traveler. Have a beautiful week of oneness. Thank you.
Do, 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 do.